What's up, peeps? Nick Battle, aka NinosCorner, man. First off, if you like this content that's coming to you on this YouTube channel, go hit that subscribe button, go hit the like button, give me some comments on all these videos. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, go hit the like button, subscribe, go give me a 5-star comment, go give me a review. Something helps out a lot. But today, guys, we're going to talk about the 2021 defensive back roster, just the shape out of that roster here at Texas and how that roster is going to translate into Coach K's defense. We know that Coach K runs a 2-4-5 defense, so that means that he has 5 defensive backs in the field, usually at all times, and that's something that you need here in the Big 12. You got to have those 2 safeties, you got to have those 3 cornerbacks, sometimes a single high safety, and having 4 different cornerbacks on the field at once. So we're definitely going to see exactly what players Texas has here in the roster and how they will fit into Coach K's scheme. But first off, I got to preface this with this. Jimmy Lake is the head coach at Washington. He is the guy who is the co-DC with Coach K at Washington prior to him getting that head coaching job. We all know that Jimmy Lake was the guy who was like the mastermind behind the defensive backfield. So I'm going to do a little bit more analysis and tell you guys what Terry Joseph, who's our secondary coach here at Texas now, that just came from Notre Dame. We're going to talk about the kind of players that he has put into the league over these past 7 to 8 years, just to kind of build that these guys have, players that fit that kind of mold here at Texas, and see how those guys will slot here at Texas in this new 2-4-5 defense headed by Coach K, but the defensive backfield coached by Terry Joseph and Longhorn faithful Blake Gideon. So who's on campus right now for the cornerback positions, guys? We got Desean Jameson, the Shark, a senior, 5'10", 184 pounds. Everybody knows, if you know me, you know that I love the Shark. Baby Shark is that guy. I love Desean Jameson. Very physical. He's a dog. I mean, he does it all. He plays, cornerback. He plays nickel sometimes when he has to, returns punts, returns kickoffs. A guy that, can play on the offensive side of the ball, which he did just a little bit his first year or so. So, man, I love Desean Jameson's games. He's one of my favorite players here at Texas. Next guy is Josh Thompson. He's also a senior, 6 foot, 198 pounds, a technician. He's very technical. He's not the most physical guy, not that I think, but what I do like about him is he knows where to be at all times. He makes the right play all the time. He makes some very acrobatic interceptions and catches. I like Josh Thompson. The next guy is Darion Dunn, senior, transfer from McNeese State. Another guy about 6'1", 192 pounds. Physical. I mean, he's physical. He don't care. He's a dog, too. Him and Jameson are some true dogs on this defense. Love his game also. Next guy, guys, is Ketan Crawford, sophomore. I think he came out of Longview Lobos, right? He's around 5'10", 5'11", 185 pounds. He's also a dog, too, man. He's not afraid to hit. He's not afraid to hit. He's not afraid to go out and get that ball on, like, interceptions. He played running back also in high school. Very talented kid, very fluid. But he's one of those guys who I think is going to see a lot of playing time this year. If not this year, definitely next year. Anthony Cooks, he's also a guy, 6'1", 184 pounds, senior here at Texas. Anthony Cook was one of those guys that I always thought that we were going to see Anthony Cook and Jalen Green man those 2 cornerback positions for like 3 years straight here in Texas, from their sophomore to their senior years, and it just never happened that way. We all know that Green actually transferred over to Mississippi State, and Cook is still here. Cook has all the intangibles. Everything. He is one of those guys who has the size, has the speed, has the footwork, but it just all has to come together. Hopefully it can come together this year. He has a lot of competition to fight for at these 3, positions that are cornerbacks. Let's just hope he can just click it on, guys, and be a great productive player here this year. Hopefully fight for like a starting job here. The next guy, Barron, he's a sophomore. He's 5'11", 185 pounds. Marquise Caldwell, he's also like a sophomore, 6'1", 197 pounds. Jameer Johnson from California, he's a freshman, 6 foot, 164 pounds. And Ishmael Ibrahim, a freshman, 6'1", 165 pounds. To be honest with you guys, we got a 5-man race here at the cornerback position. It's Jameson, Thompson, Dunn, I think Crawford, and Cook. All right? Those 5. those 5 are going to be those guys who are going to be some dogs. And you know what? I can't throw out Barron and Caldwell either. Those guys have been in the system too. But let's just say we have a 7-man race here at the cornerback position to play 3 guys. All right, so we're going to go on the other side of this section here. After the break, we're going to talk about the kind of players that Terry Joseph likes at the cornerback position and see which guys kind of fit that mold. But first off, let's go and talk about the safeties also, right? So the safeties that are here on campus, B.J. Foster, senior, 6'2", 195 pounds. You guys know BJ was a 5-star recruit. I think he's finally starting to get his wings, like with him. The previous coaching staff kind of played him a little bit everywhere, didn't know where to, play him. He's more like a box safety. Can he cover? He can do a little bit of everything. But I think he's going to be really good being one of those safeties that can range, that can roam and do his thing. He has great range, but he's a big-time hitter too, and just a bigger kid also. So I like B.J. Foster. Next guy who I'm very intrigued with, I like a lot, is Chris Adamara out of California, 6'1", 214-pound kid. He's a junior. I did not know he was that big, y'all. I did not know that Chris Adamara was 214 pounds. That opens up the door for him to do a lot of things. He can play the box safety. He can come out and maybe slot down and play a little bit of linebacker next to like Overshawn. He can be one of those guys that can definitely cover a tight end, maybe cover, like a slot receiver, not the fastest slot receiver, but can cover somebody out the slot. Maybe take a running back out of the backfield if you're trying to do like a wheel route. He can do a bunch of things here for Texas, especially at the size. He's good at stopping the run too. I like Chris Adamara's game. I cannot wait to see what he's going to do this year also. Next guy is Jaren Thompson, sophomore, 6 foot, 190 pounds. Came in very strong these last 2 games of the year. So when Ketan Stearns sat out and when Chris Brown, also was out those last 2 games, Jaren Thompson came in and did his thing. Had a very good game against Kansas State. Had a really good game also against Colorado. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. If you had to just, say, hey, who's going to start here at safety this year? You can't go wrong with B.J. Foster and Jaren Thompson, just the way that they finished out the season last year. Next guy is Montreal Stale, senior, 6'1", 196 pounds. He's a rangy guy also. I remember seeing him coming to Texas, coming out of high school, and he had really good film. He just couldn't crack the field here because he was sitting behind Ketan Stearns, who was a 5-star. He sat behind Chris Brown, who just kind of blossomed right in front of us. He sat behind, Brandon Jones also, who's also in the league now. So he's basically sat behind 3 guys that are going to the league, just kind of an unfortunate situation. And then also, just to almost get, passed over when it comes to the recruits. Texas recruited really high and very well at that position. I think in the previous year where, that's when Ketan Stearns came in, that's when B.J. Foster came in, that's when Overshawn came in, and it's like Estelle was in that class right before them, and it just didn't work out for him so far at Texas. However, story can still be written here for him. We'll see what happens this year. The next guy who I'm very intrigued with, you guys know I am, Tyler Owens, junior, 6'2", 205 pounds, 5-star safety here at Texas, guys. 5-star safety who came out of high school. This is his 3rd year. When you have 5-star guys here on campus, you expect these guys to, by their 3rd year, be some heavy contributors when it comes to playing here. And so he's one of those guys that's a lot like Chris Adamara. He's one of those guys who's a bigger guy, who can probably bump down also to that backer position right next to Overshawn, but also play safety also. We got a lot of options with him. Both these guys are really good on like special teams also, but they can cover pretty well. They got the speed. We know that Tyler Owens does have the speed. He's verified 10-3 in the 100. So he is one of those guys who can run with the wind. He's a big guy too. He loves to hit people. So it's going to be intriguing to see where he fits in on this defense. And I think that he's going to be a guy that Terry Joseph's going to see, and he's going to want to use him like the safety that he had at Notre Dame his previous year. But we'll get into that on the next side of this episode. Last person on the team, guys. J.D. Kofi, the true freshman that's coming in now, 6'1", 180 pounds, another rangy guy at safety. I like Kofi's game, but he's young. And there's a bunch of talent that's above him, that's older, that's a little bit more mature, that has the system already in place. So we will see what those 5 guys up top, B.J. Foster, Chris Adamara, Jaren Thompson, Montreal Stale, and Tyler Owens, what those guys can do here at Texas to fight for that safety position. So now, guys, we're going to go to the other side. We're going to talk about Terry Joseph's his defensive scheme that he likes, the kind of cornerbacks he likes, the kind of safeties that he likes, the kind of guys that he has gotten drafted at Notre Dame, at North Carolina, at Texas A&M. So on to the other side, guys. All right, guys, and we're back. So now we're going to talk about the different kind of, just players that Terry Joseph has coached that has actually went to the league and had a bunch of success when he was coaching at the stops at Notre Dame, at Texas A&M, at North Carolina, at Nebraska. And so we're going to just take a look to see what kind of cornerbacks he likes, the size of these cornerbacks, the kind of seasons that they had under Joseph, and just seeing some of the best qualities that he likes for his cornerbacks and his safeties to have. So the first guy that we're going to talk about, last year, Notre Dame, he's a 2020 draft pick. Troy Pride Jr. got drafted in the 4th round, 5'11", 195 pounds. He had his best 2 seasons as a DB with Terry Joseph. His most tackles for loss and interceptions were with Joseph. Very good guy as far as passes defended. Finished second on his team. His 2 years with Joseph, I think, with 10 the first year with Joseph in 2018, and in the 2019 season, 6 passes that were actually defended. So a very technical guy, not the most physical guy, but a very technical guy, always in the right spot. A really good player for Notre Dame, ends up getting drafted, and I think he actually started half the season last year for Carolina Panthers as a rookie. So this kind of shows you just the kind of talent that Terry Joseph was able to exude out this kid, prior to him getting drafted. The next guy on the list, Notre Dame, 2019 cornerback Julian Love, 4th round pick. He's also 5'11", 195 pounds. So what I like about Julian Love, he was a physical guy. Very physical guy. He had his most tackles for loss all time when he was with Terry Joseph. So he had 1 season with Joseph, had his most tackles for loss and sacks, if I'm not mistaken, than all the other seasons combined prior to Joseph. This guy, he led the team in passes defended with 16 in his season with Joseph. He's a very good player, a very physical guy. Like you see, 5'11", 195-pound cornerback that's not afraid to tackle, not afraid to get in there and get dirty. The next guy I want to talk about, I really love this guy's game when he was in college. Terry Joseph was with North Carolina in the 2017 season. So that 2018 draft, MJ Stewart, cornerback, 2nd round pick, 5'11", guess his weight, 200 pounds. So say it's that same range, 5'11", 195 to 200-pound guy. MJ Stewart was a beast, physical. Physicality is his middle name. Most tackles for loss and sacks in that 1 season of North Carolina than he's ever had in any other season prior to having Terry Joseph on his coaching staff. Led the team in tackling, I think, and also passes defended. Well, I'm sorry, he didn't lead the team in tackling. He was 6th in tackling, but he led the team in passes deflected with 12. But MJ Stewart was a physical guy. A physical guy. And that's the kind of guys that you're going to see Terry Joseph like. The next guy we're going to talk about is Brandon Williams from A&M, probably the most intriguing guy. He got drafted in the 2016 draft in the 3rd round, 6 foot, 200-pound guy. He only played 1 year at cornerback. He played running back at Oklahoma and at Texas A&M for 3 years, and then moved over to the other side of the ball to play defense for 1 year. And Terry Joseph was his coach there. And what I like about this kid, man, this kid, the passes defended, 2nd on the team with 7 that year. He took a lot of chances. He was physical. Very physical, and it showed that he actually played offense because he was able to diagnose plays really well. But very physical guy too. That's what Terry Joseph likes, guys, physicality at that cornerback position. So when you start to look at these 4 cornerbacks that he had drafted from 2016 to 2020, you start to look at what players at Texas kind of mirror those guys. So the first guy I want to talk about is going to be the 2020 draft pick, which is Troy Pride Jr. I think the guys that mirror him is going to be Josh Thompson and also Anthony Cook. These guys, they're not the most physical guys, but they're more technicians, and they get the job done. They get great hands on the ball. They're always in the right spots at the right time. So they're more of that Troy Pride Jr. build, Josh Thompson and Anthony Cook. Now, the guys that are like the MJ Stewart, the Julian Love, the Brandon Williams, the physicality, right? The big physical guys, or not the big guys, but the smaller in stature guys, the guys that he likes, the 5'11", 6-foot range, maybe 200-pound guys, the Shark, Desean Jameson. Desean Jameson is a physical guy. Darion Dunn. The transfer from McNeese State, physical. Go watch his film. He's very physical. He takes chances. I like that he takes chances. Another guy is going to be Ketan Crawford. Man, Ketan Crawford's physical too. He's a dog too. Like I told you guys, played the running back position in high school. If you watch his high school film, he's all over the place. He's a guy that doesn't mind hitting either. Those guys fit that mold of MJ Stewart, Julian Love, and also Brandon Williams. Now, I just said that his guys take a lot of chances. And, you know, sometimes that'll get you beat in the Big 12 with the double move, okay? Hey, we know if a quarterback in the Big 12 gets some time, those wide receivers, it's like playing like sandlot ball, guys. You know, once they get out that pocket, it's hey, wide receivers, get your double moves on. Let's just play some sandlot ball, streak across the field, pass, you know, just pass it open guy. I don't think we're going to have that much of a problem this year. I think the Texas defensive line is good enough. It's good enough and, well, actually really good this year to where they're going to be able to put some pressure on the quarterback and not allow them to have a lot of time. So the quarterback's going to go through that first or second read. That's about as much time as that they're going to have. And these guys will be able to jump the route and hopefully make more plays than what we've been used to here on the 40 over the past couple years. The next section, guys, we're going to talk about is the safeties, right? So in 2020, Terry Joseph had a guy named Alohi Gilman, 6th-round draft pick, 5'10", 201 pounds, safety. They call him the human missile, all right? That, like, physical, right? That's Terry Joseph's MO, right? Physicality, physical. You got to be physical to play the defensive back at his school, all right? Next guy, 2017, Texas A&M, strong safety Justin Evans, 2nd-round pick, 6 foot, 200 pounds. They called him the hardest hitting safety in the SEC when he was there. First on the team in interceptions, second in passes defended, second on the team in tackles. Just go look at a few plays that he's had, guys. There was a play in, I think, 2016 where he basically went head on with Derrick Henry. Bam. Or was it 2015, actually? Yeah, head on with Derrick Henry. Bam. Hits him hard. Knocks him back. Dude can hit. But that's the kind of guys that Terry Joseph likes, physical guys. Now, talking about safeties, we got to go back a little bit further. 2014, when he coached at Nebraska, they had a guy named Stanley Jean-Baptiste, 2nd-round pick for the Saints, if I'm not mistaken, but a bigger guy, 6'3", 216 pounds, played all over the field, safety, cornerback, even played just a little bit of wideout also. But the guy was first on the team in passes defended, first on the team in interceptions. I think he was 8th on the team in tackles that year. But one of those guys, very physical guy also, had all the measurables, didn't really make it in the league, but in college he was really good. I think he was All-American that year. You know, so these are the kind of guys he likes. He likes the bigger safeties that are physical, strong in stature, just very good physical players. The last guy we're going to talk about is Damien Stanfield, 7th-round pick, 6 foot, 215 pounds. And this is at Nebraska, also his safety. First in interceptions, second in tackles. Yeah, he had his highest tackles for loss in one season and the highest number of sacks in one season than he had in his previous seasons. This is all under Terry Joseph. So if you look at just what he does with his cornerbacks and his safeties, he likes to have very physical cornerbacks, very physical safeties that are able to take some chances, jump some routes, and get some interceptions, which is something that we've been lacking here on the 40 for quite some time now. Also, not only does he like these guys to be physical, he likes them to just play with some dog in them, man. And you see that through this system. So if we start to look at what players kind of mirror what we think we're going to see here in Texas, I like the fact that a physical safety that's here on campus, B.J. Foster's physical. You know, he's physical. He got a little banged up every now and then, but he's physical. Chris Adamara is physical. Tyler Owens is physical. Yeah, there are a bunch of guys here on this campus that can do some damage here at the safety position. Jaren Thompson's a really good player. You know, so there are a bunch of players here. I think Terry Joseph's going to have his pick of the litter, him and Blake Gideon. But he has some guys like the guy that he had last year, I think it's Cal Hamilton, who is the safety at at the Fighting Irish, right? And so it looks like we're gonna have guys like Tyler Owens that's a big guy, fast. I mean, that's just a freak of nature, a 5-star guy that's going to get drafted. That kid's good. But you got guys like Tyler Owens and B.J. Foster who can kind of fill those roles. I don't think they're that kind of player, but they're close enough to it. Chris Adamara is another guy. Terry Joseph has some clay. He has some clay here to mold, to have some good safeties here, some good cornerbacks here on this team. And I can't wait to see what this defensive backfield is going to look like next year for 2021. But guys, that was a long episode. You guys know I don't really like to do a lot of long episodes, but man, it's about the defensive backs. We got a lot of talent here. So just let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about the cornerback position here, the safety position here, just the defensive back field as a whole, and how you think Terry Joseph is going to just develop this talent here. But guys, on that note, man, I'm out, man. It's getting late. Do you? I always tell you guys, don't be afraid to fail. Outgrow your environment. Understand your brilliance, man. Do you, man? On that note, man, I'm out. Salute. Nino's Corner. I'm out.